Hi, we're continuing in the series of videos on the book Borderline Personality Disorder, Survival Guide from Chaos to Authenticity. The next issue we're looking at is Avoid the Intuitive. Daniel Kahneman, a Nobel laureate in economics who never actually took an economics course, and Amos Tversky found that judgment and decisions are often based on bias, prejudice, and false assumptions that ultimately prohibit even professionals from acting in a manner consistent with best practices of that profession. These two researchers reshaped the psychology of human judgment by proposing that instead of dependency on complex systems, we in fact only use a limited number of simple cognitive shorthands or heuristics when presented with limited outside information. While it may be easier to make good judgments if all pertinent information is available, many of the decisions we make in everyday life are made without such advantages. When faced with a knowledge-poor situation, or under constraints of time or uncertainty, we instead depend on rules of thumb or intuitive cognitive heuristics. Thus, people tend to be overconfident about understanding of problems, which can cause them to overestimate their knowledge, underestimate risk, and exaggerate their ability to control events. Kahneman asserts that there are two kinds of thinking. System 1 entails quick, automatic, intuitive responses, often in dire situations when fight or flight responses are needed, while System 2 thinking helps to regulate System 1 as it relies on slow, deliberative, rational thinking and judgment, which requires effort, time, and energy. The large majority of our decisions are System 1 in nature. Kahneman argues that both are required for sound judgment, and that System 1 and System 2 complement one another to the thinker's benefit. While System 1 entails a knee-jerk reaction, System 2 is deliberative and reflective and motivates us towards better understanding. As such, decisions are based, at least in part, on emotions and not rationality. The reality is that our decisions, proclivities, interests, likes and dislikes, and even our biases and prejudices are ultimately based on a calculus rooted in psychological and emotional underpinnings, which we then rationalize as reasonable based on a perceived fact pattern and our present and past experiences. For this reason, it is extremely important to be self-aware of emotions and egos, recognizing whether a decision is rooted in sound judgment or a judgment rooted in emotions that may be irrational, dangerous, or even self-destructive. An important lesson can be learned from diets. Why don't people lose weight on diets? The reason is that people look at themselves in the mirror and estimate how much they need to lose, say 10 pounds. The person then loses 5 pounds and thinks, well, I'm halfway there, great job. The problem is that the original goal of 10 pounds is a gross underestimate of how much weight the person really needs to lose. Most people who think they need to lose 10 pounds probably really need to lose significantly more. Losing 5 pounds makes you feel like you're halfway there, though in reality the initial weight loss is almost all water and only a fraction of what needs to be lost to get to the ideal body weight. As such, the initial estimate is wrong based on a poor intuitive guess. In general, diet plans are probably good in that they focus on lower caloric intake, a balanced diet, and many have food recipes to help people who are struggling. The reason that diet plans don't work is because people don't follow them. After a few weeks or even months, the person becomes tired of the diet plan, or might even feel that because they lost 5 or 10 pounds, that he's made sufficient progress physically and even psychologically that he can veer away from the diet plan. A similar phenomenon occurs with self-help books. A person buys a self-help book, they may read it cover to cover, and may even make changes that improve the quality of their life. The problem is that the self-help book is not adhered to long-term. After a couple of weeks or months, the person then buys another self-help book, again gains personal insight, and even enjoys personal growth. But soon enough, the person will put down the book and returns to his intuitive sense of how to live, which may even be self-destructive. Long-term positive gain is only possible through long-term consistent adherence to proper guidelines and professional supports, because the borderline's intuition is often error-prone. underestimating the seriousness of particular issues, or how to go about effectively tackling the issues. A good counterbalance to the intuitive is reading professional books.